believe it. One way or another, I know it's for Jesus. He is, faith is big as a mustard seed is. All the things in this world are needless. All we need is a Bible and a verse. Put the rivalry to hearse. Put the shackles off this curse. Defeat the worst. And when you wake up, make sure you put God first. Put God first.
I believe in the Father. I believe in His Son. And the Holy Spirit. The Trinity is one. I believe in the Father. I believe in His Son. And the Holy Spirit. The Trinity is one. I believe in the Father. I believe in His Son.
Hi, I'm Miss Toy, and I want to welcome you to Inside the Haven, where we're mentoring minds and changing lives. We do that by bringing you up close and personal conversations with business and career professionals. They tell you what they do, why they do it, who they are, and how they do it, so you, young man, young lady, can know what all it takes to be a movie producer, a movie director, which is who we have with us today. We have a wonderful show prepared for you. We're going to talk to you about how to make a movie and a few other things. But before we get started, I want to share some encouragement with you today. Our encouragement card for today is obey your parents and make your life easier. Obey your parents and make your life easier. If you're living at home, still living at home with your parents, if you're 18, 21, 25, 10 or 11, 12, but you're still at home with your parents, obey them. They know what they're talking about. And those times you feel like they don't know, well, you're going to make your life harder if you do something other than what they tell you to do. So in a nutshell, obey your parents and make your life easier. I promise you, you'll be glad you did. All right? Okay, so today our guests are Tamieko and Damieko Smith. All right. Welcome, guys. So tell us, you made a movie. What's the name of the movie?
The name of the movie is Captain Bubblegum.
Captain Bubblegum?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that about?
Captain Bubblegum is actually about an individual that lived in the city of Flint at one point in time. As youngsters, we grew up hearing about this character who at the time we didn't know was a real individual by the name of Captain Bubblegum. I remember as a child walking home from school first hearing about Captain Bubblegum, and what it was said is that he would chase local children around Forest Park and around those areas. So that was a way of scaring people on the last couple of days of schools. You would hear that Captain Bubblegum is going to chase you and get you. Mm-hmm. So you made sure you got home.
I had never heard of that, but my husband had.
Okay.
Now, how old are you? How young are you guys, if you don't mind saying?
25.
Me too. So my husband though is an old man. I'm
43.
I'm 43. Okay, my husband is 60.
Okay.
So he was familiar with it, but I was not. So he kind of shared it with me, explained it to me. Mm-hmm. So I saw some of the movie. I wasn't privileged to see all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were.
So how much? What all was involved in making that movie? I mean, did you put your own money into it? What's your background? And to make let me break it down like this. What training or education or life experience did you bring to the table to make that movie?
Okay. First of all, it starts with the idea of wanting to do something. I came up with the idea of making a scary movie and approached my twin brother about doing so.
They're twins. Can you tell?
It's one thing. It's one thing to have an idea, but it's also another thing to have a support system and someone to believe in that idea. And initially, it started out as a screenplay. I would write part of the movie, give it to him. He would read it, edit it, and then he would write his part of the movie. I would read it and edit it, and it kind of started from there. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as making a movie, it's always been one of our lifelong dreams. To make a movie. We started off in a rap group, Bloodline, just like everybody else. We had an album out. But you got to try different things to know what's for you.
That's one thing about On the Road to Purpose. It's about everybody's born with a purpose, but it has to be discovered. You have to discover what your purpose is, and it's not always easy. But that's why it's good to try different things, so that way you discover what your purpose is. And one clue to your purpose is, what do you like to do?
Absolutely.
Okay, what do you like to do? So I'm sorry, go ahead.
And so it went from an idea, and actually, the person that inspired the idea was Steve Jobs. I looked at one of his quotes, and he basically talked about how, when he started his company, he started, he wasn't going to college, wasn't taking classes. I guess he walked in and would listen and felt like he could do better and decided to come up with this great computer company, and you know, the rest is history. And I felt like if he can do something like that, just off motivation, why don't we? You know, a lot of times people talk you out of your dreams. You have family members, people that are closest to you are the ones that talk you out of doing things because they're scared to take that leap.
Yeah.
You know, having a twin brother that was supportive and that wanted to do it, I said, let's make a movie.
And to be honest, I wasn't supportive. I was like, yeah, you know, I thought it was a great idea, but I was one of the people like, we can be trying something else, so let's do something else. That's going to be a big risk or a lot of work to do it. But what he did was he came up with a kind of a trailer of what it could be, and I was like, okay, I like what you did, but then my competitive side was, I think I can do a better job.
But that worked out to your good, though.
So I came up with, I took a little pieces that I liked of what he did, and I added my own flavor, and we put it out, and we was like, wow, we can really do this. We should look into really doing this, and that's when we got the motivation to actually do it.
Wow, I think sometimes that parents, family members, siblings, whatever, I think they pour water on our dreams because they're afraid for us. They don't want us to get hurt. They don't want to see us fail. You know, but failure is part of the process.
Absolutely.
Through failure, we just gain experience. A failure, you know, we can't let it keep us down or hurt us. Just realize that, okay, I learned what not to do, so now I can do this.
Let's call it life tuition.
Life tuition? I never heard that. I like
Life
that.
tuition.
Life tuition. Wow.
Yep.
Okay, I like that. So, was this your first film, and is this your only film, or?
Well, no, it wasn't our first film. Well, actually, it was our first full film, but we also have another film that we're currently working on, which is called What You Can't Have. You know, and doing Captain Bubblegum, you know, we did the filming, we did the editing, we had to do all of that stuff.
Your own money?
Own money.
money.
Own money.
I know about that.
Actors, we play, you know, we're the main characters, things of that nature. Because when we initially started, it was hard to get people to commit to doing it. You know, making a film is a lengthy, time-consuming process. So it came to a point where, you know, I use an example. Initially, I had my wife playing one of the roles in the film, and
did she get tired?
not only did she get tired, but you know, acting is difficult. You know, it's funny. Like us right now, we're interacting normally, but you put a script in somebody, and it's like,
different.
hey, what are you doing right? You know, it's a lot difficult. You know, people don't realize how difficult it is, and I think that even, you know, we found out how difficult it was. If you watch the movie, you'll see different parts where, you know, it could have been, you know, a little bit better. But what we found out is mostly the key to acting is basically being yourself, saying it how you would say it in your own words. And once we did that, it became.
I was, because sometimes this is hard for me. You know, we were talking about before we start filming. I can talk, but then when the camera goes on, you're like.
You're thinking about every word. Think about every word you say. So
Right. But you got to keep going. You got to keep going.
Yes, but what I was saying in regard, we are working on a film called What You Can't Have, and we can't, you know, since Captain Bubblegum, we both were trying to film and everything, so a lot of the scenes we couldn't be in the same scene at the same time. So or if in the scenes that you saw us in the same time, we got other cameramen to kind of help us out. We didn't want to run into that problem with our next film, so our next film, What You Can't Have, Tamieko stars in it, and I'm actually doing all the camera work in it.
So what about if you guys were in a film and you both play the same part? Because I mean, you guys are identical. Could you do that? I mean, if you know, both of y'all play Tom, and sometimes you're Tom and sometimes he's Tom. What about that?
No, because once you around us, you can tell us apart.
Oh,
so,
okay.
You know, some people that know us will be like, that's not the same character. That's not gonna work. So.
And plus, our weight fluctuates.
Mine too.
So sometimes he's the fat twin, sometimes I'm the fat twin. So it just depends on, you know, on the date and time.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. So how far along are you in the production of the second film? I mean.
We are, I'd say 3/4 the way done. You know, we ran into some snags in regard to one thing in regards to trying to do a film with people that aren't professionals and getting paid. You got to do it on their time. So if we set up something all together and one person doesn't show up,
you throw the whole thing out.
Well, yeah, and then we sometimes have to ad lib because the show must go on. So we might end up having to change some of the dialogue or change some of the scene based on who's showing up and who's committed to it. So
I think stuff like that though is just a part of you all's training, you know, and to help and encourage you to adapt and to change and to hone your craft, because we all go through that. You know, how often does something really turn out the way you planned it to?
Absolutely.
You know, and so I think, what they say, adversity, you know, teach you how to solve problems, make you better. So that's probably all that is. We got to keep going. In your filmmaking, did you have a role model or a mentor or somebody that you kind of just watched maybe from afar, from seeing them in film, or read some kind of books or something, or did you take classes?
No, honestly, it's just something that, with YouTube.
So he had the idea.
Yeah, with YouTube, you can find out how to do it, everything. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know how to do where I just, let me YouTube it. Oh, I know how to fix a furnace now. I know how to try to fix a furnace, or, I saved me $20 by trying to do this and that. So, but just a lot of YouTube, the biggest thing I think, and what Flint is, there are several filmmakers in Flint, and we all are trying to learn and get better. There's Yusuf Boswell, there's Mondo, who does the Mondo television. These are young African-American filmmakers, and that we're all like, instead of trying to hold each other back, and instead we collaborate.
Help,
I might, you need to use my camera, okay, I'll bring it over to you. You need to use my light, okay, this is what I've learned, 360 rule, you can't do this in filmmaking. Oh, I've learned this, you can't do that. And just trying to share with each other so we can come up with a better product, and being positive, that's the key thing. It's a lot of crabs in a bucket type mentality, and once you mature and get past that, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish.
Right. Because there's enough to go around, and there's enough to go around. There's enough to go around, and two are better together. We're better together than we are separate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good. So you guys are multidimensional. You're not just filmmakers. You're educated. So. You're in social work.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what exactly do you do?
I'm a child protective services supervisor for the Department of Health and Human Services.
Same thing. I work for the Department of Health and Human Services. I'm a child protective service worker.
So are you guys in the same building?
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay.
Yep.
So I imagine being in child protective services, you see a lot of things.
We see a lot of things that are unfortunate, but we also see a lot of positive things as well.
Good. Good. So what is your degree in then?
Actually, one thing about education, we found out, and I think we both experienced that you can always continue to learn when it comes to education. Initially, we started out with associate's degrees at Ferris State. We ended up going to Central Michigan, where we both got bachelor's degrees. We continued our education and received our first master's from University of Michigan Flint, and then we both decided to go get a second master's at Bowling Green University. And as you can see, we've attended all the same universities.
Right.
So.
Wow. So I guess then you left Flint for a while and you came back.
Yes, ma'am.
So how long did it take you all to get those degrees? Did you go straight through, or did you stop and work for a little while?
Undergrad, that was a ball, so it took a while. That was a 7-year program instead of a 4-year program. But the graduate degrees, they were pretty quick, 1.5 years, 2 years. And we did leave to go to Ferris and Central, but we came back, we got our graduate degrees, while we were in Flint. So.
And one of the things I want to say to the young people that may be watching is college was probably the best experience in my entire life. A lot of people don't know. They tell you about the hard work and things of that nature. But number one, college was actually easier than high school.
Way easier.
Okay, a lot easier than high school. It was a lot of fun. You meet a lot of different people and you get a lot of different experiences. That's why I would encourage any young person to, we have great programs in Flint, but sometimes it's best to leave this environment, go get your education elsewhere, get that experience, and then bring it and come back and bring that knowledge to the city. I think that will help out the community tremendously.
Good. So you said it took 7 years to get basically what should have been. I'm sorry, not what should have been. What could have been a 4-year degree. Well, kids need to know that. I mean, so was the obstacles, or was it an obstacle at all, or was it something negative, or that's just what you chose to do? I mean, what happened?
No, it was the obstacles is being young, just being young, enjoying college, and learning, there's a couple, like I said, life tuition. That was life tuition and real tuition in regards to the price. But it was just obstacles when you're young. You're coming from Flint. You go to different cities like Big Rapids, and it's a different culture there. And it's hard sometimes to adjust to a different culture in regards to coming from Flint. Adjusting with individuals from Detroit, individuals from Grand Rapids, that type of thing. So it was some struggles in the beginning, but afterwards, once we saw that, we absolutely have to get our degree to be successful. That's something that we both committed to.
That's wonderful. Like I was saying, I always say, the scenic route. It'll slow you down because you're looking and observing and enjoying the scenery, but it is best to, go straight through, but you still taking the scenic route, you still get there. And so the main thing is, it's not so much of people don't remember how you started, they remember how you finished. So what do you like? What do you guys like most about what you do in social work?
I think for me, the biggest thing is working with families and allow them to see some of the issues that they have, giving them the tools to solve those issues, and basically keeping kids in the home. You know, a lot of times when we service families, you know, people have a tendency to come into a home and tell people what they need to do and try to fix their problems. And a lot of times families don't need you to fix their problem. They need you, you know, they need resources, they need help. They need you to identify certain things and certain tools that they don't have access to. And by doing so and empowering them, they're able to fix their own issues. So the biggest thing is, you know, child safety, making sure that some of these underprivileged families have an opportunity to be successful and these children have an opportunity to be successful.
And so they can stay together,
Most
like you said, as a
definitely,
family.
most definitely.
What about you?
I mean, I just would agree with some of the things he said in regards to what I mean, it's first of all, it's something I love doing, so it's not like a job to me, and it's easy for me in regards to when you do something you love. But the biggest thing is trying to be a role model for the community and trying to be a role model for kids and trying to keep families together. You know, because you know, coming from Flint and being able to identify with these families, you know, I feel like we can, Tamieko and I can have a broader perspective in regards to, with the state of Michigan in general, just helping these families and giving a different perspective on how to deal with the issues that the Flint families, or just not even Flint, but the families in Genesee County as well.
And especially being, you know, African American men. You know, we don't see a lot of. It's good to see African American men doing whatever they do in a professional setting. You know, in families. You know, in schools. The girls need to see that, and the boys need to see
Most
that too.
definitely.
You know,
Absolutely.
They really do. They really do. And then the community at large need to see that, because we as African Americans, we have such a stigma and stereotypical things attached to us that by and large aren't even true.
Yeah.
You know, for the community at large, it's not even true. You know, so I commend you guys for doing everything that you do and stepping out and making film and making another film, and that's just wonderful. And yeah, good. So what do you feel is your greatest accomplishment so far? Whether it's whatever it is, what do you feel is your greatest accomplishment?
For me, one of the things I'm most proud of is I produced I wrote and produced a stage play. It's called We Walk the Same Path in Different Shoes. And you know, this was a play that some individuals at the Department of Health and Human Services came to me and said, hey, we want you to write a play, a stage play.
Wow.
And specifically, I had no experience doing so, but you know, I said, you know, I want to take on this challenge.
They must have saw something.
Yeah, I said I want to take on this challenge, but I wanted to make it real. And it was about foster care. It was about what goes on in foster care. Now, a lot of people want to think that, you know, and a lot of kids, you know, want to think that, you know, everything's fine and dandy when they go into foster care and we have all these problems solved and everything's going to be fine. But the truth is, as an agency, we're still struggling to ensure that we have good foster homes. And what I wanted to do is not only highlight some of the good things that happen in foster care, some of the good parents that step up and that are foster parents, but also some of the things that occur in foster homes that people might not know. For instance, I ended up going to a conference one time, and I spoke to some of the young ladies at the conference, and you know, just to be very blunt, every young lady that I had talked to in that conference had told me they were sexually abused while in foster care.
Yeah.
That was the issue for me, being a foster care, at that time a foster care worker. But I knew that, you know, working for this agency, I didn't want to condemn and say that that's how all foster care homes are. That's not the truth. But we do have to realize and put it out there that could happen.
That could happen.
So I think the most important part was, before we take these kids out of a bad situation, you can take a person from a bad situation
in something
put them in
worse.
something worse if you don't
God
become
forbid.
familiar with their situation. And that's why I want to make sure, and that's why it's important that we work with these families and try to keep them in the home. So when I wrote this play, you know, and I want to elaborate on this. When I wrote this play, we had individuals come in and read the part. So we had this young lady come in, and this young girl, she's reading the part. And in this part, this young lady was being molested by her stepfather, and her mother knew about it and didn't say anything. So the young girl is reading.
Which actually really happens.
As a matter of fact, the young girl that was reading the part started crying,
'Cause it
and she
happened to her.
ran out. And come to find out, it happened to her. So, you know, for me to be able to tell that story, do it in a way that was, you know, do it in a way that was real, okay, but at the same time that was sensitive to the situation and to the agency was probably one of my proudest moments. We put on a big display. We had a dinner. Brought the foster kids, foster parents, the community in to see that play. And we made a lot of money. Foster parents came up to me, and foster kids came up. Number one, the foster parents were happy because they was like, this needs to be told. Okay, yeah, they're good foster parents, they're good foster homes, but they're also bad foster homes. The kids were happy because they said, somebody need to say that, somebody need to let people know that, what really goes on and what could go on, so that as a community, we can address that.
Right.
So to me, that's one of my biggest accomplishments.
Kudos to you.
And that money that he said that they made, that was donated back to the foster kids, so that was a good thing. To me, I guess, I would say the biggest accomplishment is being able to purchase my mother and father houses to live in. That's something that I'm definitely proud of, that not only Tamieko and I, but we have a younger brother by the name of Shantae Smith, that we were able to provide housing.
So your mom telling me about him too. I gotta call him too.
He's a very talented individual as well.
Yeah, she's so proud of all y'all. So what I want to ask you then, leave our young viewers out there with a word of encouragement. Maybe they want to make a film, or maybe they want to go on a social work master degree. What word of encouragement would you offer them?
The only thing I would say, and I'm a coach as well. We both coach.
Right, you both coach soccer and basketball, girls.
Girls basketball.
Okay.
And I
Wait.
boys,
So one of y'all, go ahead.
I coach boys and girls soccer,
Okay.
varsity soccer, and I coach girls basketball.
Okay.
For Montrose for the girls basketball.
Okay.
Go Rams. But just in general, I would always tell my kids, and I'll tell kids out there, don't be afraid to fail. That's the biggest thing. Try. If you fail, oh well, at least you tried. But if you don't try, you failed already.
Right.
So just don't be afraid to fail. Whatever you believe you can do. I know people always say that, but Tamieko and I was having we were having this conversation before we came here. It's like, do you realize whatever we want to do, we can do it? And I truly believe that. That's what I would like to leave them with.
Wow.
I have a saying. People always say, there's 1,000,001 chance for something to happen. Well, it's 1,000,001 chance. But what they don't realize is when they say that, that keeps 1,000,000 people from trying, which in turn may leave that one chance open.
Yeah.
So, that's what I would like to say.
Wow. Well, wow. I've enjoyed you guys. I really thank you for coming. We've been trying to get you here for a while, but thank you for coming. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I wish you all the success in the world with Captain Bubblegum and the second movie that you're working on, and I think the state of Michigan and DHS.
DHHS. We changed the name.
DHHS they should be. I hope they realize what they have in you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And so with that, I want to thank you. We have we'll be right back because we have another surprise guest for you.
I believe in His Son. I believe in His Son and the Holy Spirit.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back with my special guest, Steven Boone. This guy is just multi-talented. He does a little bit of everything, and he does it well. So, Steven, how old are you?
I'm 16 years old.
16 years old. How tall are you?
6'4", standing up without shoes. Yeah.
Really? Wow, you're a handsome young man and
Thank
very
you.
tall.
Thank you.
So I hear that you rap, you act, you're tutor,
Yeah.
you play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about and then you do something at school.
I help a girls basketball team, Burton Glen.
In Burton Glen?
Yes.
Oh, Burton Glen. Okay. So what about the rapping?
Rapping kind of came naturally because my dad is a musician, and I've always been around music. So everybody wanted me to play the piano like my dad, but I kind of didn't really learn how to do it, and I just instantly been knowing how to rap since I've been 10 years old.
Wow.
I just haven't really put anything out, but I feel like you always are supposed to believe in yourself that you can do anything.
Do you see yourself doing a CD or something later on?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can do it soon. We like. All you really need is that chance, and I won't miss my chance.
All right, time and opportunity happens to everyone.
Right.
Everyone. Okay, so what about you? What do you do at school? You tutor?
I'm a mentor. So
okay.
what that is it might be kids with low IQs, some kind of special disability, and they just need some help. So they choose us mentors, the people that they see as leaders around the school, and we go and we help them with work, homework, stuff like, and not just even work. I like to call it more as like a peer pro or something, because With me, I don't want to say mentor because that's kind of embarrassing to walk around and say this is my mentor. I want it to seem like I'm their friend.
Okay,
So
good.
I help them with advice with anything they might have advice with need.
So do you go to Burton Glen too?
No, I go
Okay,
to
where you
Grand
go?
Lake High School.
Okay, Mom, tell me that.
Yeah.
All right, and so what grade you in?
I'm in the 11th grade.
And so what's your GPA?
Ooh.
If you don't mind me asking.
Oh no, I don't mind. It's high twos. We have to get some stuff up right now, but it's high twos though.
That's all right. You know, it's just good to be well-rounded.
Right.
Well-rounded. So, but if you're a mentor and you help kids, so they must see what's in you that's necessary for you to do what you do.
Right.
Okay, good. So, and you say you help girls basketball.
That kind of happened just out of nowhere. I left the basketball game. My mom was kind of like, "Oh, my friend wants you to help us coach the team," and you know, I was just like, "Oh, they're all my age, so I can talk to them like they were, you know, my age." So I just helped them win games, and we're undefeated right now. So
wow.
Yeah.
So you play basketball?
Yes.
So what position do you play?
I play small forward, power forward, and I'm working on my shot so I can play shooting guard as well. I try to be well-rounded.
So are you on junior varsity or varsity?
Well, right now I'm actually not playing for my school, but I would be on varsity if I did. I just like AAU because there's more of a challenge.
AAU?
Yes.
What's that?
I forget the actual term of it, but it's just with the best kids. We're all on a team.
The best kids. I know that's right.
And I also do the same thing with mentoring. They have their own team as well, and it's called Grand Lake Unified. And we help them win games, and it basically what that is also is just the same thing as mentoring. We get actual basketball players, and we help the kids with the low IQs and things like that, and we just play in tournaments all around the state.
Wow,
it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So what's your ultimate goal? What do you when you go to college? Do you know what you want to major in right now, or do you know what kind of career you want to have?
I love entertainment, any kind of entertainment, sports entertainment, music entertainment. Entertainment, I just love it. So I would probably go into some kind of field like that.
Maybe being, could you see yourself being an agent or actor or attorneys go into entertainment too, somehow?
Right. Definitely acting, because I've also, again, been doing that my whole life as well. So that would kind of seem like, it wouldn't even feel like a job. It would just seem like
natural
something
fit
I'm doing.
for you.
Yeah.
Natural fit. Wow, that's good. So have you figured out what college you want to go to yet? Have you thought that far through?
Well, that also comes with the basketball. I'm just letting them come at me right now. I've talked to a few different schools. I don't know if it would be right to say the schools, but I've talked to a few different schools, and it's a lot of fun.
So you getting scholarship offers?
I have 2 offers, and the other ones we're just talking. So it's a lot. It's
talking leads to things.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm so proud of you, young man. Your mom's proud of you too.
Oh yeah.
And so you're an asset to our community, and I want to thank you for being on Inside the Haven. Okay.
All right. Thank you for having me.
I believe in His Son. I believe in His Son and the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit. The Trinity is one. The Trinity is one. I believe in the Father. I believe in the Father. I believe in His Son. I believe in His Son and the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit. The Trinity is one. The Trinity is one. I believe in the Father. I believe in the Father. I believe in His Son. I believe in His Son and the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit. The Trinity is one. The Trinity is one.
This ain't a shameless poem, just trying to avoid where the shameless go. Love my Father, hold deeper than a rich man with the hand full of his own gold. I'ma do what the Holy Ghost told.